Physio First, big, hairy, audacious Goal 9. What is Goal 9? In a way, it is what we as private practitioners have been striving for years. A possible way to make a huge difference in our marketplace and to stop having to feel like everyone else in our marketplace has more control over us than we do. It won't be easy, but we think it is both brave and elegant. Our Goal 9 is to investigate so that we are able to understand, explain and judge the potential impact of cooperatives, that is physio-owned and controlled business entities, and elements of real branding that incorporate measured quality and competence. Physio First arrives for what is certainly the first time in our history at a point where we will have the ability to realise a version of what has happened in the USA. The rise of physio-owned and controlled business entities with a clear understanding of branding, should we choose to do so. The world, on the other hand, and the UK in particular, is growing keener on shared ownership of a John Lewis style, where those who do the work and who together share the risk can also share the reward. This is not communism, it is pure marketplace rules. We are talking of the rise of consortiums, cooperatives, syndicates and networks, where the only difference from the traditional business model is that the business is owned by the suppliers, who employ professionals to manage it, but where the suppliers also have some control and are able to share in the reward. We want to try to make sure that physio-owned networks do have a very good chance of coming into existence. Commercial entities that are capable of competing on marketplace terms and which afford as much private practitioner, supplier as shareholder control as is possible to preserve what we, members of Physio First, hold sacred. That is what our training, knowledge and experience can do for patients. This, of course, leaves moot the question of what place Physio First might have in such business models, which ranges from becoming the engine of a massive consortium or cooperative of private practitioners capable of negotiating national contracts with any organisation, to being the catalyst for encouraging smaller groups of private practitioners to create lots of consortiums or cooperatives themselves. This question has not been answered, as it is the marketplace that will produce the answer, and it is why we have specifically ended with Goal 9, which takes us to 3 years hence, and which specifically takes us to the point where, having been through all of the other 8 goals, we will by then be able to investigate so that we are able to understand, explain and judge the potential impact of cooperatives. But getting to this point within 5 years was seen by our executive committee members as the progression of an organisation that exists to champion evidence-based, cost-effective private physiotherapy with Physio First members in the changing healthcare marketplace. As regards branding, the second part of Goal 9, investigate so that we are able to understand, explain and judge the elements of real branding that incorporate measured quality and competence. Our executive know that branding requires the customer to perceive predictable and sustained quality from the start to the end of their journey. In fact, it requires more than that. Every touch of the organisation, from its marketing to its logo, to the behaviour of its people, to the quality of its product, needs to shout predictable and sustained quality all of the time. If, as private practitioners, we are going to aim to have this sort of predictable and sustained quality in private practice, then we have to be in a position to measure it. In this regard, by the time we get to Goal 9, we aim to understand how to produce a measure that is private practitioner defined, private practitioner evidenced, and private practitioner led, and that is definitely not something that is imposed upon us by some other external marketplace player. A tall order in anyone's books.